Mr. TALIAFERRO, how's everybody doing out there? Back in 2018 on a track entitled Apple of My Eye, Rick Ross addressed one of his younger homies, Meek Mill, and his beef with Drake. According to Rick Ross, he believes the beef was unnecessary. He always knew Meek Mill and Drake would work their problems out sooner or later. And to take it a step further, Rick Ross, he even knew that it was a bad idea for Meek Mill to get in a relationship with, at one point in time, Nicki Minaj, who was kinda around Meek Mill once the Drake beef kicked off. Ross' lyrics in this song go as follows. I told Meek I wouldn't trust Nicki. Instead of beefing with your dog, you should have just gave him some distance. We all make mistakes. Let's not be specific. You'd rather be a killer than be a statistic and never fold. No, I never ran on my soul. I roll like an avalanche. I thank the Lord I just got some great friends. That's why every bottle I open, I say amen. Again, that first line, he says, I told Meek I wouldn't trust Nicki. Instead of beefing with your dog, you just give him some distance. Obviously, you could understand why Nicki Minaj wouldn't be appreciative of that bar pertaining to her ex. And during a recent interview with Joe Budden and the Joe Budden podcast, Nicki Minaj has responded as Joe and the crew tried to bring up Rick Ross and The Game, who was the better rapper between the two. Nicki Minaj wasn't going for the conversation because she couldn't even fathom picking Rick Ross in any conversation the way he dissed her a year ago.
Only person in your artist corner when everyone turned their back on them, when everyone was calling them Twitter fingers and cracking up laughing at them, and you had, like, my nigga, and I'm the one. I went and sat down in a meeting with Obama, President Obama, and Ross was there and texted dude after the meeting and said, yo, this chick is a keeper. I saw the text myself with my own eyes. This chick is a keeper. She went in a room full of rappers and spoke to Obama, and the first thing out of her mouth was about you and figuring out your probation situation and why you're still on probation after all these years. And then you come out on an album when it's time to sell some weak ass fucking album and try to disrespect Nicki Minaj? What? And now you tried to do it. Now you tried to disrespect 50. Tried to hope 50 would respond to your nonsense this time. Boy, sit your fat ass down.
To give the Joe Budden podcast credit, they didn't hit Nicki Minaj with a follow-up question pertaining to her comments on Ricky Rose because they didn't realize she was talking about Rick Ross and not The Game until later in the interview. I listened to the podcast in totality and it took me 20 minutes to realize, oh crap, she's not talking about The Game. She's dissing Rick Ross. What do you think about Nicki Minaj's comments about the biggest boss in the game? She's claiming that Rick Ross is a clout chaser looking for album sales. She's also claiming that she thought it was corny for the biggest boss in the game, Ricky Rose, to text Meek Mill at one point in time that she was a keeper. And then after her and Meek break up, to go on a record to try to sell more albums, according to Nicki, and say you told Meek Mill to not trust Nicki Minaj. Y'all let me know in the comment box below. I'm out. I came from nothing, but I want everything God has for me. I interview celebrities. I talk sports. I still represent the culture.
All the kids, they are now tuned in.
Yo, we locked in right now, Mr.
TALIAFERRO.
Mr. TALIAFERRO.
Mr. TALIAFERRO.
Mr. TALIAFERRO.
Shout out to Mr. TALIAFERRO.
You're watching Mr. TALIAFERRO TV.
Mr. TALIAFERRO TV. Here with the triple B's, you can't do nothing but win.